Let's get started. So remember I said we're going to keep it a little bit more yin today. Let's take that blanket or pillow and fold it up, and we're going to lay it on the side, and we're going to lay it on our back with that underneath our shoulder blades. So I want you to find a comfortable position. Have this under your shoulders. Let your head hang back slightly. Stretch those legs out nice and long. You can place your palms up to the sky or hands on the hip. If that feels tight in your neck, you can move that blanket back a little bit to let your head rest on it. So if you're feeling tension in your neck, draw that blanket back so that the shoulders are still opening. The ribs are kind of opening towards the sky, but then the head, neck, and shoulders is a little bit more relaxed. So it really depends on your personal practice, what's going to feel most comfortable. But we'd like it to feel comfortable today. We want to relax into each pose. So we want to feel an opening in our spine. Our feet are dangling to the side, just like they would be in our final resting pose. Again, we can have our armpits open and our palms up towards the sky, or place our hands on our hips. Find some length through your spine. So we're allowing our ribs to open, our shoulders to hang down. We're relaxing the space between our eyes, softening the jaw as we fully inhale all the way down to the belly. As you exhale, the navel comes closer to your spine and the ribs soften and lower. Inhale, feel that breath move and fill your lungs fully. With each breath, find another part of your body that you can fully relax. So maybe it's your shoulders today, or maybe it's your lower back. We always want to find length, bringing that space back to our vertebrae, even while we're in the laying position. With each breath, it becomes longer and longer, more and more relaxed and exposed. Each time the mind wanders, bring your focus back to your breath. Let's lift one knee up and then the other. And then bring the base of your feet together and let your knees butterfly open. And again, we can keep our palms up or hands on the hips. We want a gentle opening of our hips here. We're letting gravity do the work as the base of our feet touch and our knees open towards the floor. If you'd like, you can lift your arms up overhead and mirror the legs, palms open to the sky, elbows open to the side. Remembering with each pose, as we breathe down to our belly, we're softening in our hips. The weight of our legs is helping open our hips. Breathing nice and smooth, even and continuous breath. If you start to feel a little bit of tension in one area, try to imagine your breath moving to that spot and allowing it to open, allowing that energy to move freely through your body. Bring the arms back down the side body, placing the palms to the insides of the legs as a cue to draw the knees together, using those inner thighs. Take a few breaths here. Try to find another relaxed feeling as the knees are up towards the sky and the feet are on the floor. Always trying to have the hips, knees, and ankles in one line. We're going to gently roll to one side. So we're going to let our knees hang over and our torso and our head. We're going to roll gently off of that blanket and use the top arm to come into a seated position. Nice and slow. Whatever that means for you, just gently lifting through the crown of the head and dropping the chin towards the chest. Let your shoulders hang down. With each exhale, they feel heavy. We usually think about lifting through the crown of our head or drawing space and using our core to lift up. We're going to do that just a little bit right now, but I want you to feel relaxed. Chin to the chest, allowing our neck and upper back to open in the other direction. Letting your eyes rest as you find that breath again. And with each breath, we're softening the space between the eyes. We're softening our jaw. We imagine our shoulders hanging further down towards the earth. Letting a smile come across your face. Let's inhale. Lift those arms up. Lift the chin up. Exhaling, palms together. Head back to neutral and then hands in front of the heart. Let's reach the palms back up towards the sky. And then let the arms float down. Softening through the shoulder. We're going to walk our hands out in front. Reaching forward. We can place the forearms on the ground. We could just have the fingers touching. Drop the chin towards the chest. Imagine the hips drawing towards the earth, finding length in our lower back. If we have blocks, we can lean into them. Placing our forehands on those blocks, or we could even take that blanket and get that extra space. Really imagine your hips pulling towards the earth as you lean forward. We're rotating in our hip joint. So we have that length through our spine. And we relax our head down, not holding any tension in our neck. And we're imagining our hips really sinking into the earth. We're going to take a few breaths here. Try to imagine that softening of the hips with each breath. We want our neck and our shoulders nice and relaxed as well. If you'd like a new challenge, inhale and come up for a breath and change the leg that's on the outside. We have a natural position that we always cross into, but we can change that. And what you'll notice is how that rotation in your hip changes. Maybe you're not folding forward as far. So we know we need to work on this side a little bit more. Softening through the head, neck, and shoulders. Relaxing that head down. Find that length through the lower back as you rotate the torso in the hip joint. With each breath, we try to release a little bit more. We try to relax and let go. Release that tension in your body. Release the energy that no longer serves you. We can imagine on each inhale, we're drawing in fresh energy. On each exhale, we're releasing what no longer serves us. And then on an inhale, we'll slowly come up. Roll those shoulders back. Uncurl the legs. Stretch them out nice and long. Move your thighs to the side so we can find our sit bones. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for joining. You're here. That's what matters most. Take a moment. Maybe you want to massage the legs. Maybe that feels good. Maybe you just want to lift up through the crown, curl back the toes. Just take a moment. Uncurling those legs, getting the energy flowing. Maybe you pointing the toes and curling them back. And then we're all going to find that nice and tall position. I'm scooting back so you can see a little bit more. So we always move our thighs so we can find the bones, hips, knees, and ankles in one line. Curling back our toes, palms to the side, shoulders down. Maybe your arms are a little bit straighter. Maybe they're more bent. That all depends on the length of your arm. Lift through the crown and then drop the chin to the chest one more time. Really kick out your heels here, curling back those toes. Nice solid base to lift out of. Engaging that core. Taking a few more breaths here. Knowing that we need to use that whole core and lower back to lift up nice and tall. The palms are pressing out of the earth as a cue to lift. We still would like to relax our shoulders down and release, relax that upper body. Okay, let's take those blankets and roll them, or take that pillow and bring it underneath your knees. We're going to do a nice forward fold here. So we're taking it and we're placing it under our knees, lifting them up, curling back our toes. This gives us a different kind of lifting feeling. We're going to inhale and lift our arms up overhead, finding length through our spine. Exhale, fold forward, drawing your torso towards your thighs and then relaxing the head down. A couple of options. We can keep our palms towards our feet or our shins. We could take our arms underneath with the blanket behind our calves or our knees. Or we could even take the arms on top of the shins and rest our head on a forearm. Wherever you are, I want you to focus on finding length in the lower back. So maybe you shimmy forward a little bit, stretching out that lower back as your torso becomes closer to your thighs. And then we want to relax the head, neck, and shoulders down. Whatever that means for you. We're lengthening our lower back. Our hips are sinking into the earth. With each breath, we feel our thighs. So we inhale, upper lungs and belly press into the thigh. Exhaling, they draw away. If you'd like, relax your feet for a moment, pointing the toes slightly. Maybe that allows you to find more length in the lower back. Remembering to soften the space between the eyes and the jaw. Relaxing the shoulders and the neck. Taking a few more breaths. Trying to connect our mind with the breath and the body. And then releasing the arm. On an inhale, we'll slowly come up. We're going to come onto our hands and knees for a moment. So moving that blanket to the side, gently turning over. Nice and slow. Maybe you want to take that blanket and unfold it, using it for your knee. We're going to come into child's pose. So nice, relaxed child's pose. We can have our hips, knees, and ankles in alignment as we shoot the hips back towards the heel, or knees out wide, the edge of your mat, toes come together. Hips to heels, reach the arms out, and then relax the forehead on the mat or your fist or a block. So we can make one fist and then rest the forehead on it, or stack the fists on top of each other, or a block. We're going to reach with the arms for this one. We're lengthening our upper back. If you'd like, we can also take that blanket and place it under the torso. This is another option here. So we're going to hold it for a few breaths. So we can take that blanket or pillow and we can rest our torso on that blanket and then rest the head down, placing a fist under the forehead. I want you to find a position that's comfortable for you. Finding a moment in time to relax our body fully. And again, with each breath, we're feeling that torso expand into the thighs. We're using that pressure on the forehead as a cue to relax our face fully. We might be reaching with the fingers, feeling that stretch through the ribs. Or maybe we relax fully, just letting those shoulders relax. And again, we're using those cues from our body, any tension we might feel, to take a moment and imagine with each inhale, we're drawing new energy to that spot. And with each exhale, we're releasing that tension, releasing that energy that no longer serves us. Taking a couple of more breaths. Relaxing the arms if you have them stretched out. Maybe you draw the elbows out just a little bit wider. And then we'll eventually bring those palms towards our shoulders so that we can slowly lift up, nice and slow. We'll draw our hands under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. I'm just going to take a moment, checking in with our body, spreading our hands nice and wide. Our elbows are not locked. There's slight bend, lifting out of the arms, wrists and shoulders, knees and hips. Let's take a moment to check in with our spine so we can relax our hips. Our spine goes down, our hips tilt up, we look up slightly. And then exhaling, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching and rounding the back, tucking those hips under. Inhale, looking up, just following your own breath. Feel your spine move, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching and rounding the back. And then release. Maybe you feel called to keep moving into these cat and cow variations. Maybe you want to take a moment and tilt your hips from side to side, wagging your tail, keeping our torso kind of in position and rotating from our middle, lower back, and hips. Maybe you want to circle and draw those hips towards your heels and out to the side and around, leaning your weight from one side to the other, and then the other direction. Feeling that full rotation of the spine here in whatever way your body needs. We're just moving. Maybe you have a cat and cow that you want to hold. You want to hold that stretch in the spine, that exhale. So we're just listening to our spines, listening to our bodies. Maybe you feel called to move forward and back. So lifting that chest on the inhales and forward, exhaling, chin to chest, navel to spine, but shifting your hips back slightly. Take 2 more breaths in whatever variation feels good. And then release. Shoot your hips back towards your heels. We can take a blanket here and sit on it for a moment. And we could just take this variation lifting up high and just trying to feel a release in our thighs here. If that is difficult, come up. We could also tuck a blanket under our knees. We could place our hands on our hips. We're pressing our hips out the other direction. If a full variation is in your practice, we can bring our hands to our heels. We could also use blocks to press out. I just want you to push your hips the other direction or just enjoy stretching out your thighs. Everybody is different and everyone needs something different. So we're just taking a moment, working the hips the other way. We're imagining that length. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening up the chest at the same time. Or with those blocks. We can even lean our head back if we have the block. And then we'll release. Sit back down on the heels so that we can turn, and we're going to come back to our back. Moving into a figure 4 here, opening up those hips one more time. So we're going to come to our backs first, however you'd like to get there. Nice and slow. Knees up towards the sky. Find a nice neutral position first. So our feet are on the mat. We want a nice straight spine. Head, neck, and shoulders relaxed fully. We're going to do a nice gentle figure four, and we're really going to breathe into it today. So always think hips, knees, and ankles are in alignment. We're going to take that right ankle across to the left knee, and then press your knee open towards your mat. We can even use our right palm as a cue to press open. As we're in this position, we want to think about keeping both hips on the mat. We're opening up our hips in a new way. We're relaxing our head, neck, and shoulders. We can have our palms open to the sky. We can have our hands on our belly. Our focus here is our hips. So our right ankle is across to our left knee, but our foot is relaxed. We're really thinking about opening up our right knee towards the ground. We're going to hold. So it's up to you. We're going to hold for about a minute, a few breaths here. We're holding each pose for a long time today. So I encourage you to stay here. If you really want to and you find that this allows you to open up more, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Draw the hands behind the knee. You can have that left leg parallel to the ground, or you can kick that heel up to the sky. But we're choosing the variation that we can hold and breathe deeply into. That is our goal today. In each pose or posture, we're finding that tension in our body and we're breathing into it. We're allowing it to soften and move. We're allowing it to release and open. We know that with each breath, we're drawing in new energy. We're releasing what doesn't serve us. We're allowing our body to expand while healing with each breath. Smooth, even, and continuous. Relaxing the space between the eyes. Softening the jaw. Knowing that so many of us hold tension in those areas. We're trying to focus in on that today. Release. If the leg is up, bend the leg, draw that left foot back to the earth. Before we reach the right leg up towards the sky, and then reach that heel down to the earth, finding length through the right side, reach the arms overhead. Space through the abs, and then relax the upper body. Lift the right knee up so that right foot can hit the ground. And moving into the other side, we'll take the left ankle across to the right knee. Drawing that left knee towards the side or towards our mat, however we need to imagine. Palms up towards the sky, hands on the belly, your choice, relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders. Focusing on softening through the hips. Our left foot is pretty relaxed. We're not holding tension. The foot might still be at an angle, but we want the focus to be on our hips. It's always your choice into which variation you choose, staying here and focusing on opening up the hips. Or maybe we lift the head, neck, and shoulders and draw those hands behind our knee. We could keep that right leg parallel to the ground or lift the heel up towards the sky. Whatever variation you choose, breathe deeply into the belly and the hips. Let them soften with each breath. Remember to keep the head, neck, and shoulders relaxed. The breath holds the key to releasing tension in our body. It holds the key to our entire life. Our breath is our life. That smooth, even, and continuous breath can help us in every aspect. If the leg is up, bending the right leg, let that foot hit the ground. Then extend the left leg up towards the sky. Let that leg hang down till the heel hits the earth. Pointing the toes, extend the arms overhead. Taking a deep breath here, stretching through the abs. Draw the right leg out to meet the left, finding length from the fingers to the toes. And then relax the upper body. Lift one knee up and then the other so that the feet hit the floor. Moving into a gentle twist. This is your choice. We can have our arms out like a T. We could also have our palms facing up towards the sky like field goal posts or cactus. I encourage you to take a twist that is great for your body. We could simply keep both feet flat on the mat and let our knees hang over to one side and just hold here. This also helps open our hips a little bit. If you want a little bit more, we could lift our knees up towards our chest and let them hang over to one side. We could use that blanket between our knees, or we could use it on the floor underneath our knees. We could also wrap our legs so our top leg comes around to the other side. Taking the variation that works best for you and allows you to relax fully for a few breaths. If you'd like, you can turn and look the other direction. Remembering with each breath, our shoulders and arms are feeling heavy, pressing into the earth. We're allowing our spine to twist open as we massage our internal organs. We take a moment to check in and soften our face. We might imagine stacking our hips one over each other as we're in this twist. Might help release our back just a little bit more. And we'll slowly move back to center. A nice slow movement, realigning our position, and then choosing that same variation on the other side. So again, maybe that's feet on the floor and knees hang over. Finding that length down the side of the hip. Maybe that's drawing the knees to the chest or wrapping what will be the top leg around and then letting the knees hang over that side direction. We could take that blanket and tuck it between our knees or underneath so that it's on the floor, allowing ourselves to soften into each pose. Remembering to focus in on our breath. With each breath, the upper body feels heavy, allowing our middle and lower body to twist open. And we can imagine stacking the hips, allowing the vertebrae to open just a little bit more. And gently move back to center. Nice and slow, realigning our spine, drawing our knees into our chest, wrapping the arms around the knees. We can hold here, or if you feel called to do so, rock from side to side, or circle, massaging the lower back. Hugging those knees in nice and tight. Then we'll stretch out the leg, entering into that final resting pose, finding length, nice straight spine, having space between our feet so that it's at least hips, knees, and ankles, or maybe a little bit wider. Feet dangling to the side. Find space in the armpits as the palms open towards the sky. Remember, our chin is always slightly lifted towards the sky. We take a big inhale, breathing in fully, upper lungs, lower lungs, and belly fully expand. And then on the exhale, sigh, releasing any tension you might feel. We can keep with that sigh for a few breaths, fully relaxing our body. Or we can immediately let our breath return to its natural rhythm. As our limbs feel heavy into the earth, we relax fully. Resting the eye. We can tune into that third eye or space between our eyes. We let our jaw soften. Shoulders feel heavy. As we lay on our backs, we can feel our ribs and back expand into the mat with each breath. We know that this portion of our practice is just as important as every other pose. We allow our body to rest for that energy we've moved around to find its home in our body. We know we carved this time out for ourselves today. And we make the most of every moment, of every minute that you made for yourself in your practice. Every time the mind wanders, bring the focus back to your breath. Try to enjoy the space between thoughts. Maybe we place the hands on the belly, using that as our point of focus. Meditation is simply being present in the moment, letting go of everything else that you're experiencing to focus inward. To simply enjoy the space between thoughts, to enjoy that time internally inside our bodies, that connection with our breath. It's moving meditation within our yoga practice. Let's start to awaken our bodies, wiggling our fingers and our toes, rolling the wrists and ankles. We reach the arms overhead like it's first thing in the morning, finding length from our fingers to our toes one more time. Lifting one knee up and then the other. We gently roll over to one side where we can take a breath or two before coming up into a seated position. Taking a moment, dropping our chin towards our chest, letting our eyes close for a few breaths. Always bringing a smile to carry throughout our day as we inhale and lift our arms up overhead. Exhaling, hands come down in front of the heart. Taking a moment of gratitude for yourself and all the hard work you put in today, for that time you carved out for your practice. Thank you for joining me today. Always a pleasure having you here. Namaste. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful class.